That's why I call this the greatest visionary man that I ever. To me, when I have, can we have the image on the screen?
You take a minute for the projector to run.
When I realize the magic that is into this formula, mathematic formula, is one of the best poetry I ever read in my life. It's so strong. The impression that I had, strong as the beam of light that Caravaggio did in that famous painting. The fact that everything is moving in one direction. We are born as a matter, and we are grow up go to energy. The body and the soul, the matter and the energy. And this is equal for everyone. The theory of color, the gate or scientific Isaac Newton did, or any other philosopher, even if it's in your culture, sometimes seems different. The difference is because you call in different names, or you place in different proportion according to your thought. But at the end, red is a one wavelength so high they give you on your body that kind of impression and that kind of emotion that you can call it with any name that you want to, but it's exactly the same that I have in Italy. He has in America, the other one has in Russia, the other one has in Australia. And that's happened with the green and the blue, because it's energy. Everything is go back to this. Energy is nothing else than matter moving at the light speed square. So in any energy there is a matter, in any matter there is energy. It's a question of balance between them. So we react, we love, we hate, we eat, we behavior in any emotion that you want to, according to wavelengths, to energy. And that doesn't change. Can speak Chinese, Russian, French, Italian, or Spanish. Welcome. Okay, and after I want to just mention to you something about reds. Okay, go with another question.
Some time before.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we are breaking for lunch at 1:15.
Okay.
I'm here. 我的问题来自于刚才您播放的那支短片，是关于不同的摄影流派的，因为会跟您的这个观点会有些冲突。美国有位摄影师叫阿尔芒多，他刚才出现在您的电影里，有他的作品《天堂电影院》，他的摄影风格是天堂岁月啊，也对，也可以这么叫啊，天堂岁月。他的摄影风格，对，他的摄影风格是主张自然主义，少用灯，然后呢，不强烈的突出这种象征功能。所以我想问，您是以这个表现主义见长的，更擅长色彩，还有强烈的隐喻功能。那么，您是怎么看待他的这种摄影的这种风格的？这是第一个问题。
No, it's very clear. But that's why each one of us is different. For example, Nestor, which was a very eye-sensitive man, made particular films, give a specific emotion. And let's say the combination between, in Days of Heaven, between him and the director was perfect. Because that's what exactly is Nestor nature, and without any doubt, the chance that the director gave it to him to filming practically the entire movie at the end of the day almost, when we have the sun setting, is a dream for us. In some particular, So I see not always in one way. I cannot do the movie, every movie exactly in the same style, because you cannot have the entire world in one day or in one season. I love the change. I love the movement. I love the appropriate lighting. That's why I need the combination between Caravaggio and Vermeer, the combination of light and shadows, the combination. Nature require find balance between these two, like this. Nestor is perfect in one specific things. The use of natural light in one specific way, and he found the perfect paradise for him with Days of Heaven. When I was doing 1900, I felt the need to use in the first part of the picture, doing without any artificial light. Because at the beginning of 1900, my opinion was when we have the children, particularly, you have to feel the nature movement and the color of the nature around them. I did have a very big moment with Bertolucci when he wants to do a night scene, and I don't want to use any artificial light, because to me using a 10 kilowatt on 1905, I felt uneasy. But it was very important when I used artificial light in 1930, because I need that kind of conflict like the Expressionism. And I said to Bernardo that if it was possible to use more natural light according to the sequence. And he said to me, okay, Vittorio, but I used to work doing shot number 1, like this. And now I do shot number 2, like this. And after shot number 3, like that. Every single shot is give me the feeling how to do the next shot. So I want to go in order. And I need the entire day. It's up to you if you want to give a feeling of sunset, what you can do. But I need to shoot from 8 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the afternoon, going in order. So it's up to your technical knowledge in this case to use a screen, filter, iris, whatever, printing, whatever you can in order for that sequence. If we shoot in 8 o'clock, 13, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, give the kind of feeling of sunset. That's your tools that you can use it. For us, for me, Days of Heaven was a dream, a perfect dream. But I cannot have it in every movie, without any doubt. This is a perfect example that if you have a director like the director of Days of Heaven, you can do that. Otherwise, probably Nestor could find himself in trouble filming another movie with another director that doesn't give to him that kind of chance to film in only one particular time. That's why we are different, and that's why I think each one of us has his own particular personality. That's what I says, that each one of us has his own print, his own imprint. Without Nestor, that movie cannot be the same. Like without Storaro, 1900 cannot be the same. That's all.
Yeah. Hello. My question is, I was happy. I'm here, right here, right here,
让大旭看到吧。
right here. Oops. Sorry. My question is, I'm happy that I started shooting on film 10 years ago, and after that, I all shot on digital. As an artist, how will you face the? Sorry, I'm blocking the camera. I better sit down. Okay, so as an artist, how will you face the technology obsolete problem? Because shooting on film, I know that after 50 years, 100 years, I still can hold up my film with piece of glass and a shelf of life to look at my work. But nowadays, what I only got is the DCP on the hard disk. So like maybe 50 years, well, let's say 10 years later, maybe the technology got obsolete. So my work will be lost or look like shit, excuse my language. So as an artist, how will you face the technology problem nowadays as in the past?
You know, I used to say that progress is a word that you cannot stop it. You can speed up or you can slow down, but you cannot stop it. Definitely human being, since ever, has the desire, the need to express himself through images. They started into a cave making graffiti. In 9th century, they did the mosaic. In the 11th century, 13th, 14th, 15th century, they painted on wood. They painted on canvas. After they invented the photography in black and white, photography in color, cinema movement, photography in black and white, in color, panoramic, 3D, digital. We're changing the material, but we don't change the concept. Everything really stay is the idea of the human being, according to the different period, of course. Because we cannot repeat today, when there is people who say, oh, it was so beautiful, the black and white. Oh, I cannot support the color, so I want to do a movie in black and white today. Yes, it's a kind of romanticism that you can do it, you can use it. You can do painting on wood, or going into a cave and do graffiti. It's fine, but it's an expression belong to one generation. And today you are artists that belong to the 22nd century. So you have to use your technology, but you have to know any other technology that was before of you. Don't think that you start from scratch. That's why I put together this book, to give an homage to these people, to Terrence Malick, that was directing Days of Heaven. But I did 50 nice movie, and I'm approaching my 60. And I did only one film on electronic, in digital, the Flamenco with Carlos Saura. And I decided to do it because Carlos he doesn't like to see dailies, he never come to dailies. But he loved to see the best image he could when we are filming, into a studio. And I do have the control with the light, with the cinematography light board. I see that I can control the relation with the images. And we did Flamenco. I finished Mohamed on film, on chemical. I had 6 cameras with me. We used a lot of film. In my opinion, was the only technology that I could use in the desert near the Baltic Gulf. And today, the time that I started Mohamed and I finished Mohamed, the technology changed completely. Technicolor closed the facility in Rome. Kodak closed the facility in Rome. Today, very few people printing on film. You don't have any more screening room, the screen films. Everything is going in, you have to do a digital intermediate because nobody is doing interpositive, internegative any longer. Developing films. Very few romantic people love to say, I love photochemical. I love too photochemical. But it's over. So now I convinced the director that I'm going to work with, they love photochemical, there is a silly that we are running behind a technology that is vanishing. Better we are in a conscious way into this new technology. We try to use as best as we can, not only best as we can, but in using one technology, you put in all your creativity, all your effort into that, and you are modified this technology because you are tell to the technician, we might need this, we might doesn't need that, we might want to go in that direction, and the different company listen to director, cinematographer, producer, and they change this new technology according to your desire. So you are part of the developing of one new technology. You don't suffering for the new technology, but you are going to live with it. You have to love it. If you don't love the technology, you will never make something good. Even the mechanical element has a soul. You cannot hate your film camera. You have to love your film camera if you want that it work well. No doubt. So you have to accept the fact that you are born in this century, and this is your technology. You can be, if you like, very romantic and go back and making a sculpture in marble like Michelangelo was used to do. Fine, if you can are a big sculpture, but today you can, lot of people, lot of artists using the new technology to express themselves, to express this specific time. So unless that you really have the kind of a nature like Michelangelo had, and you want to use stone, that's fine. But otherwise, better you use the technology you have today, which is electronic, digital, and so on, without thinking that it's wrong, but thinking that that's the chance that you have to express yourself.
But do you have a fear that your piece of work will be lost?
Well, since long time, I'm fighting to try to keep as far as I can any piece of material is not permanent, is impermanent. And I discussed with Sony, with Kodak, with since many years, to find a way to preserve the images. I was the only cinematographer till now that put in his own contract that they have to do a silver master separation of the film that we're doing. Not only because my desire, because I want to educate the producer and the director to preserve this image. The only chance that we have to preserve a color image today, do not forget that we're celebrating the centenary of cinema because the first 50 years were in black and white. Black and white film doesn't fade because black is generated by silver. Silver is a pure element. It doesn't fade. The problem was only on the mechanical element, that films, they can be scratched, can be bricked. But when it's printed in polyester, it becomes really solid. So there is a technology called silver master separation that you can have from the color image being split in the 3 primary color, printed in 3 films, black and white. Each one record your primary color. Later, 50, 100, 200 years later on, you can recombine in the complementary color those images in the color images. This is the only technology today to preserve your film. In Italy, the only series of the director that is preserved is Bernardo Bertolucci, because I pushed the Cinecittà International when they asked me to reprint, to preserve Bertolucci. I said, we preserve in the proper way. So each negative is being transferred on those material has been archived in the Italian Film Archive. And that's what I try to do with everything that I do. Unfortunately, there is a system that is invented by Kodak. It's called DOTS, D-O-T-S, Digital Optical Tape System. There is a system that I saw in Rochester. That is the perfect one to preserve image forever, in a sense that they tested in the laboratory till 500 years, and they are not able to destroy that image. That's as far they can. In a very stupid, silly way, Kodak, after their research, all of this, left the system away, thinking that the digital system was the proper way to make money. And they lost the entire industry practically. My hope that somebody, I have a friend of mine that bought the copyright and is trying to put together this system again. And if he will find another company that putting together the money they need, he will save probably all color still television and cinema image in the world. But till now, yes, color is fading 1% every year in films. In digital, if you don't transfer your image every at least 5 years, you lost completely. When somebody says, but I did the digital transfer, so I'm okay. No, digital is only transferring numeric, but the element doesn't stay too long. You have to be optical digital. Optical means that you can see, because the dots is a kind of material from the NASA, from the space technology that you cannot destroy it. They can, you can sculpt into, with a laser beam, the numeric images, and after that, you cannot be destroyed. It's there, that system. And we need just to find somebody more intelligent. The last president of Kodak, they had this proper equipment in his hand, they lost it, in order to save all of our images. We hope. You should know, the old image that you're doing, it doesn't last more than a few years. So you have to push in order that the company technology should come out with a system that can preserve the image. Otherwise, 200 years from now, young children says, what they done at year 2000? There is nothing left. You can see a stone from the Egyptian, you can see Michelangelo's stone, but you cannot see what we done in 2000 years. Right.
Thank you. I just want to add to the translation. You mentioned you are the only cinematographer who put into your contract to ask for...
In my opinion, yes. In my knowledge.
Okay. To ask for a separate master? Okay.
Silver master separation.
刚才有一个翻译里面的补充就是大师说他是他知道的唯一的电影摄影师要求在他的合约里面要求有一个额外的一份master 的拷贝，对，另外就是刚才说的黑白的底片是不会褪色的，是因为里面是有银在里面的，就银的颗粒，银对画银对 ，OK， we have time for one more question before we go into the reds.
Excuse me. Very excited to meet you, Mr. Storaro. And may I have two questions? But I want to thank you for motivating us to, insist our vision. Like it's very difficult for young cinematographers to insist their vision, as the budget is getting tighter and tighter in, video productions, and we need to be we'd have more courage and more knowledge to do that. So thank you for your motivation. And firstly, may I re-emphasize like the gentleman's question of yesterday about the focal length. So I think what he want to ask you is about like what's your, do you like you mentioned about a lot of like your theory, your philosophy about light and shadow. Do you have your philosophy or maybe preference in like photo, like a focal length? Like for example, the Japanese director Ozu, he loved to use like long lens and low angle. So do you have your own preference? Do you like what focal length or what kind of like, you know, to express yourself, your theory or maybe your preference? Thank you.
Well, without any doubt, you cannot do by yourself this kind of decision. You always should go in agreement with the director. And as I mentioned to you, director like, for example, Carlos Saura or Bernardo Bertolucci, they have their own philosophy about the lens. So it's up to them. In any collaboration with any other director, I can propose myself, but I always say I need, and of course, I have to have the director's approval. But personally, I don't have, in my opinion, it's wrong to have some kind of philosophy to say, I love long lenses, I want to do everything in long lenses. Because not necessarily every story or every moment of the story need long focal lengths. Sometimes you need maybe a totally opposite. Maybe once, if you look at the Stanley Kubrick picture, what is called, no, the Strangelove. Dr. Strangelove is fantastic because every single sequence has its own specific style. In some area, he's using really almost 14 millimeter lenses or 18 millimeter lenses. Let you feel inside that the, particularly with where all the general making all the meeting, the kind of this kind of very strong perspective. But when we have the attack to the general that in his mind wants to use the atomic bomb, and they have all the soldier, they're attacking, everything is done with long lenses, almost end camera. And every time you see the airplane moving, every time there is some kind of a cut with some movement of the airplane. So if you study that movie, you see they're using different style for different sequence, because at the end it's come out with the entire design. So you, in my opinion, is not correct. You're using one style like that in the entire film. The concept at the end should come out with one concept. But most of the time you need, like music, according to this, you're using different things. For example, in the next project I was suggesting that in some specific time would be nice to use long lenses, and in some specific sequence we have to use wide angle in order to make the contrast between the two areas. Practically, you should choose the focal length according to the story, the set, the emotion that you're supposed to have on that moment, not forgetting the most important thing, which is the composition. But inside that frame, you can have the perspective very tight or the perspective go like that. Supposed to go according to the emotion that you want to come out with the scene.
Do you try different preference for the director on set? Like for example, like only the close-up, you try maybe 32 millimeter and then switch to 85, like try different preference for the
That
director.
can happen, so why not? I mean, sometimes you have an idea. I mean, I was so, you see, in my opinion, the best balanced director I ever met is Bernardo Bertolucci. In a sense, he really cared is something that is suffering if he doesn't find a solution in writing the story with the camera. And I remember in several examples, first film that we did, at that time in 1960, 70, between those periods, in Italy there was the use of zoom, very, very, very common. And Bertolucci, I was an assistant cameraman with him when he did this before the revolution, 1963. And he used zoom all the time, long lens as well. There was a moment that all they had to need to experiment with this kind of tool, let's say. When I met again him as a cinematographer in 1968, in Spazio Stratagem, one time he said, Vittorio, let's bring the zoom just in case we need it. Put the zoom in the camera, checked the camera, the shot, it came out, he was vomiting physically. He said, take a zoom away because I feel sick. He did so much in one period of his life that now he can never do. Practically, we used zoom in one shot in The Conformist, maybe one shot in the Rose, but we never use zoom any longer. So it's something that you have to feel it. You have to really soften with it. That's the only way that it's like your grammar, when you're writing a story, as you use the language in literature. William Faulkner, an American writer, is able to write it 30 pages without the comma. It's like a long piano sequenza, never stop. If somebody else needs talk, 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 talk. Each one has his own feeling. Particularly is good if you using the proper style according to the story in one particular moment. You cannot use always the same style. It would be a mistake, in my opinion.